everybody. Ms. Franco here. Thank you for joining me. It's Tuesday. Welcome back. We are going to cover algebraic expressions today. So an algebraic expression is a number sentence without an equal sign. It has at least one term and one or more variables. So I said it. Now I'm going to write it. As soon as I can make it work a little better, I'll probably start typing out the sentences. I know a lot of you will be like, oh, thank goodness. But for now, you will have to just kind of suffer with me as I figure out my iPad and connecting it while I teach for virtually. Okay? Now, you can shorten the word number by just using a hashtag sign. And so probably after today, if I have to write things out and I have to say a number, I may just use a hashtag sign. It's all about shortening. So a number sentence. And again, without an equal sign has, ooh, that's rough. Has one term and one or more variables. So, best thing about a video, pause it, write it down. Write this down. Write these notes down. You're going to need them, okay? Pause, write your notes, and then resume when you're ready. Now, we are going to identify the different parts of an algebraic expression for terms, variables, coefficients, and constants, because you need to know the difference of those four. So this is an algebraic expression. So the variable terms are the terms with a variable, and the variable is a letter. So I want you to make sure that you write a variable is a letter. And it can be any letter. So to give you an idea or an example would be X, Y, or Z. Those are usually, or we may see A, B, C. A coefficient is a number next to a variable. Again, pause if you need to. A coefficient is a number next to a variable. So 7x, the coefficient would be 7. That negative 5x that we see at the top, the coefficient would be negative 5. And the 4x that we see, the coefficient would be the 4. It's always the letter touching the variable, attached. Again, pause if you need me to, or if you need to. The constant. Constants are numbers without variables. So if we look at this, we want to identify the numbers without variables, which are our constants. So our constants would be this positive 3, this positive 8. Oh, I don't like that. It's covering it up, so yucky, yucky. Guess I'll underline. Constants are that positive 3, positive 8, and the minus 1. So constants are plus 3, positive 8, and a minus 1. Now I'm going to put the plus 3 and the plus 8 for now, just to make sure that you know for sure. But a number that is by itself is a constant, because there's no letters attached to it. There's no variables. Pause if you need to. And the very last is a term. So a term is each part of an expression separated by the plus or the minus or parentheses. So however you want. It's not in a box. It's kind of floating. But, so I said it. Like I said, I'm going to learn how to type this soon. Term is each part of separated by a plus or a minus. Oh, sorry. Each part of an expression separated by a plus or a minus. Pause if you need to. So now let's practice. So let's look at these lower terms, and I'm going to have to zoom out so you can see that. Or can I turn it sideways? Oh, I can. Okay. No. Here we go. All right, so it wants us to identify the terms and the variables, the coefficients and the constants in each expression that we see. So this is our practice. So what are our terms? Our terms are everything that is separated by a plus or a minus sign. So the terms are easy because the terms are everything. So that negative 5a is a term. That negative 7, that 5d, and that h are terms. They're all terms. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Little delay. Ah, variables. What are variables? So what letters do you see? Well, I see an A. I see a D. And I see an H. So those are our variables. Now, what are our, if we were to say what are our variable terms, with that A would be a negative 5. With that D would be a 5D. And with that H, well, technically there's a 1 in front of that H. But anything multiplied or divided by 1 is itself. So H times 1 is still H. So you won't always see a 1 written, and really you won't ever see a 1 written in front of a variable by itself or a letter by itself. What are our constants? Do we have any numbers in that expression? Or excuse me, we're going to do coefficients, my bad. What are the coefficients? So what are the numbers in front of our variables? We've got that negative 5, that 5. And technically, if you do want to be tricky, like we said, there is a 1 attached to that H, right? So we're going to draw an arrow to each one of these so we know what it was originally attached to. And now, what are our constants? What are our numbers without letters, or numbers without variables? We only have 1. But don't forget the sign that's in front of it. It's that negative 7. That negative 7 is our only constant that we have. All right, let's do this one more time, and then you're going to be doing something very similar to this on today's individual practice. So, like before, let's identify what are all of our terms. So our terms are 7m, negative 5, negative n, negative 8k. Now it's negative 1n, right? Gotta remember that. So what are our variables? Our variables, remember, are the letters. So this time I'm just going to write the letters. So if they were just asking what my variables are, what are they? They're m, n, and k. So if they asked me to solve for a variable, I would be solving for m, n, or k. They wanted me to solve for a negative variable, I could have left those negatives attached. Usually they don't want the negative. They want us to solve for the variable, which means a positive. Also a key little thing to lock away in that brain of yours or put it in your notes. Coefficients. Remember, the coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables and touching them. When a number touches a letter, it means that they multiply. Okay? That's why it's a coefficient. So coefficients, we have that 7, which is touching that m. What's touching that n? There's not a, we don't see a number written in front of it, but we see a negative, and we know that the number written in front of it really is a 1. So that negative is attached to that 1, and it's a negative 1. And what's attached to that k? A negative 8. Do not forget the signs. And I'm going to draw a line so we remember what they're attached to. And finally, do we have any constants? We have one constant, and that is the only number without any letters attached to it, which is our negative 5. So that's today's notes. Now, please go ahead and pause, rewind, write down your notes. Hopefully it won't take more than a page. And then please complete, make sure you did the warm-up, and make sure that you complete today's individual practice, and definitely use these notes to help you do the individual practice. I promise they will help you. Thanks, guys.